In the manager's office, the newly appointed staff, Jenny is conversing with the Material Management Department manager, Eric.
Welcome to the Material Management team. I'm glad to have you on board. How are you settling in so far?
Thank you, I'm excited to be here. I'm settling in well.
Great to hear! I wanted to chat with you today about the material management process for our Pepsi company. It's a critical part of our business, and I'd like to make sure you understand it thoroughly. Are you familiar with the process?
I have a general understanding of the process, but I'm sure there's a lot I don't know yet. I'm eager to learn more.
So, the first step in the material management process in our Pepsi company is the purchase requisition process. Do you know what a purchase requisition is?
Yes, it's an internal document that is used to request authorization from the purchasing department for a raw material purchase.
That's correct. At Pepsi, we use an electronic system to create purchase requisitions to ensure that purchases are made in a controlled manner and that we're not overspending. We mainly purchase raw materials such as high fructose corn syrup, carbonated water, natural flavors, and more. Next is the requisition sourcing process. It's the process of identifying and selecting the best vendors to fulfill the requirements of a purchase requisition. At Pepsi, we have a set of criteria that we use to evaluate potential vendors. We evaluate potential vendors based on their reputation, quality of products or services, delivery times, and pricing.
Okay, that sounds like a thorough process. Is there anything else I should be aware of?
All vendors who do business with or on behalf of Pepsi entities worldwide are expected to follow our supplier code of conduct and all other relevant policies as a condition of doing business with us. Oh, we even carry out sustainable sourcing that is operationalized through Sustainable Sourcing Program, Sustainable Farming Program, procurement practices, and tailored programs. Next, we have also signed a long-term contract with NutraSweet Company to continue utilizing their aspartame artificial sweetener in our range of diet beverages. Pepsi and NutraSweet declined to disclose the duration and specific conditions of the newly established agreements. When we enter into a long-term contract with a supplier, we're establishing a relationship with a supplier that we can rely on to consistently meet our needs. After Pepsi goes for sourcing, they will then issue a purchase order to the vendor for the specific material that references back to the purchase requisition. When we create a purchase order, we're specifying exactly what we need from the supplier, the quantity, the delivery date, and the agreed price. After the purchase order is issued, the vendor will ship in the material that Pepsi has ordered and it will then come in physically in Pepsi's warehouse. Well, the first thing you'll need to do is to verify that the information on the documents matches the purchase order that we sent to the supplier. You should also make sure that the goods quantities and descriptions match those on the purchase order.
Okay, I understand. Is there anything else I need to know?
Pepsi will receive the invoice from vendors electronically. The first thing you need to do is verify that the invoice matches the purchase order and the goods receipt. This means checking that the quantities and prices match, and ensuring that any discounts or taxes are applied correctly. The last stage of the material management process is the payment process, where we pay our vendors for the goods they have provided. Once you've verified the invoice submitted by the vendor, you'll need to enter it into our accounting system and ensure that it's approved for payment. So that's all for the material management process. Do you have any questions?
Actually, after we bought the raw materials, how will these raw materials be manufactured?
Well, the question you asked relates to the production planning stage. Are you willing to know more about this?
Of course. Please talk to me more about this.
The first process in production planning is to focus on the production orders sent by the sales department. Before Pepsi starts the manufacturing process, we will ensure that they have enough materials to fulfill the order. We will identify the bill of materials, BOM, how much, where, when and how to manufacture their products.
Okay, that makes sense. What happens next?
We then go through the routing process to create a production plan, which outlines the steps needed to fulfill the order. We break down the order into smaller batches, assign the necessary resources and machines, and establish a timeline for completion. After the production plan is created, we release it to the production floor. The manufacturing team then executes the plan, and the finished goods are sent to the warehouse for distribution. The next process is forecasting so that we produce enough products to meet customer needs. Pepsi's CEO, CFO, and marketing director, responsible for overseeing strategic planning, will regularly review the performance of both domestic and international outlets. Using sales data as a basis, Pepsi will develop sales, production, and rough cut capacity plans. It's important to be aware of any external factors that may impact demand, such as changes in the market or customer preferences. We need to be agile and adjust our forecasts accordingly to ensure that we can continue to meet customer needs. The following process is MPS and MRP. MPS allows Pepsi to determine the quantity, timing, and raw material requirements for the production of carbonated drinks, while MRP is used to identify what materials we need for production. During MRP, we review the bill of materials for each product and use that information to create a list of the materials we need to produce the product. If there are enough raw materials, Pepsi proceeds with the manufacturing execution. However, if there is a shortage of materials, Pepsi procures the necessary amount to meet the requirements. Pepsi line workers will monitor and adjust the manufacturing process constantly to avoid any accident happens like equipment breakdowns and process bottlenecks during the production process, and to ensure that they're efficient and cost-effective. We use data and metrics to identify areas where we can make improvements, and we adjust our processes accordingly. Once we identify an issue, we would make adjustments to the production line to address it. After the carbonated drinks are produced, they are packed into cartons and loaded onto trucks for delivery. The trucks transport the cartons to Pepsi's 84 warehouses, which majority of which are located in the United States. Afterwards, 3 documents are generated, namely the material document, accounting document, and controlling document. In the final stage of our production planning process, we conduct what we call order settlement. This is where we close out production orders and settle any costs associated with the production. This includes the cost of raw materials, labor, and any overhead costs. We will analyze the actual production costs to see if they meet or exceed our target production costs. And that's all for the production planning process. Now you already understand how this stage works, right?
Yes. Thanks for explaining these to me. But what about the sales process?
It also takes a while to explain the process. Do you want to keep listening?
Of course. Please do explain to me.
In the sales and distribution stage, we use an inventory management system to ensure that our customers have the products they need when they need them. The system tracks our inventory levels in real time and helps us identify when we need to restock our products. It also helps us manage our orders and ensure that our customers receive their orders on time. If the inventory is sufficient, Pepsi will distribute its products by utilizing various platforms such as grocery stores, warehouse clubs, convenience stores, e-commerce retailers, and others. We have a team of sales representatives who work closely with our customers to meet their needs and develop customized solutions that meet those needs. They also use data and analytics to identify trends and opportunities for growth to increase sales. After a customer such as a retailer places an order, Pepsi will perform an availability check and generate sales orders while also making delivery arrangements. The availability checking process is critical to ensuring that our customers receive their orders on time. It involves checking the availability of our products before we confirm the order and provide a delivery date. After the products are picked and packed, they are loaded onto trucks and transported to the customer's location. Pepsi uses a transportation management system to schedule and track shipments. We also use GPS tracking to monitor the location of the trucks and ensure on-time delivery. Additionally, we conduct regular inspections and quality checks to ensure that the products are in good condition before they are shipped. After the products are shipped to the customers, the billing process starts. The invoice is generated based on the number of products shipped and the prices agreed upon in the sales order. The invoicing is handled by the finance team in the head office. They generate the invoice and send it to the customer's account payable department. The customer's account payable department processes the invoice and sends payment to our account receivable department. Once we receive the payment, we mark the invoice as paid and update our records accordingly.
I see. Thank you for walking me through the process. I feel like I have a much better understanding now.
You're welcome. If you have any questions or concerns as you start working, please don't hesitate to come to me for guidance.
Created using Powtoon.